Hey, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. I guess you can call it a podcast. It's Friday, which means it is time for the weekend wrap up where we discuss all things entertainment, gossip news, etc. that happened this past week. We're going to start off today with a couple of really heavy subjects. So we're going to start with those to just kind of get them out the way. Our first one is going to be regarding Dartavius Barnes. He was the Illinois driver who was pulled over April 6, 2020 in Springfield, and he is now filing suit against Springfield, Illinois, and a couple of individual officers that pulled him over that day. According to Barnes, he was handcuffed. Well, he was stopped for speeding. Apparently, he sped through a light. They pulled him over and handcuffed him, put him in the back. They asked if they could search the vehicle. He did give them permission. He let them know ahead of time there's just a little marijuana in there. Fine. They searched the vehicle. In the center console, they find the marijuana, and they also find a vial of ashes. And they come over to the car, open the door. He's sitting in the back handcuffed, holding the urn, vial, whatever you want to call it, letting him know that we just tested the substance in here and it came back positive for heroin. He immediately starts crying and yelling, no, that's my daughter. Give me my daughter. That's my daughter's ashes. And he's crying and he's like, put her in my hand, like he's turning around. He's trying to get to it. He's like, put her in my hand. And they saw how adamant he was. And he kept saying, that's my daughter's ashes. And the police officer said, you know what? Let me go talk to somebody. I'll be back. Hold tight. Whole time he's in there screaming, crying for them to give him his daughter. And they go around back. They talk a little bit. You can hear the police officer say, yeah, I tested it and I could have sworn it came back positive. And he sounded so unsure. And they decide to go ahead and give the vial back to him. They never tested it again, which kind of goes to show me that I don't think they tested. I think it may have been some kind of a setup. I'm sorry, it happens. I think it was a setup or something. They never tested it. The ashes has to be, what are ashes? Are they like gray or something? Now, I've never seen heroin, but I've seen movies and it wasn't gray. So I'm not sure what it is he thought he was testing, but I, again, don't think he even tested it. But they came around, they told him, we'll go ahead and do you want us to give it to the ashes to your father? He says yes, because his father is off camera going crazy. Now, immediately, as soon as they tell him they're going to give the ashes to his father, he calms down. He stops crying. He calms down. He's like, hey, give it to my dad. That's fine. And by the way, can you do me a favor and tell my dad to calm down? Tell my dad to calm down. And pretty much concerned about his father because he knows what could happen in 2021 when you are acting a fool with police officers. So that was where his concern was, now that he knows that they're going to give the urn or vial, whatever you want to call it, to his dad. Like, that was basically his only concern. So now, of course, nothing stuck. He didn't do anything but speed. It was a traffic stop. So of course he didn't go to jail or anything. So now that he's free to file charges. And I really hope that he receives justice. I mean, he's already been traumatized. His 2-year-old daughter, Tanaja, died February 2019 after police found her unresponsive, wrapped in a urine-soaked blanket. She had been neglected and starved to death. The girl's mom, Twanika Davis, Twanika with a W, Davis, and her boyfriend were found guilty of murder, and he was sentenced to 30 years. She was sentenced to 20 years. So that by itself was already traumatizing. And then here you go for a routine traffic stop, traumatizing this man again. And pretty much, you defiled his daughter's ashes. It was just ridiculous. So we're going to pray and hope that Dartavius gets whatever it is that he feels, whatever compensation he feels would help him with this situation for the pain and suffering. I hope he receives it. The next story we're going to talk about is Ronald Green. Ronald Green was a 49-year-old man that was killed by police May 2019. Louisiana state troopers pulled him over, and apparently he had taken them on a high-speed chase. So when he finally got pulled over and pulled out of the car, they began to beat him while he's screaming and apologizing for taking them on a high-speed chase. In the video, you can hear him screaming, I'm your brother, I'm scared. You know, he's asking them to stop, I'm scared, I'm your brother. Very, very, very sad video. It really is kind of up there with George Floyd, because also in the video, you can see them kicking him, hitting him, kicking him, using the stun gun over and over. They end up putting shackles on his feet. So he's laying face down. The video was 49 minutes. He's laying face down, bloodied after they beat him. All the officers move away from him and leave him laying face down, full of blood, while they go clean themselves off. And you can hear one of the officers saying, well, I hope he doesn't have AIDS. You know, I'm all bloodied or whatever. I hope he doesn't have AIDS. So they end up telling the family that he died of a car crash. They said that during the high-speed chase, he ran into a tree. The front of his car was not banged up at all because he never ran into a tree. They told him he died. He died of a car crash. And it was covered up for 2 years. They refused to release any sort of video or anything. So finally, this past October in 2020, the family saw the video and went ahead and filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the Louisiana state troopers. The video was extremely sad. It was very, very hard to watch. Same as Dartavius Barnes, same as Floyd. These things are just becoming more and more. I mean, they've always been hard to watch, but just hearing this man plead for his life, seeing him in shackles, face down, they literally dragged him face down on some sort of gravel or dirt across to the police officer's vehicle by his feet while he was shackled and handcuffed. This is just becoming all too common, and we got to do something about it, guys. We got to do something about this. I'm glad that as of right now, this is the second and last story like this that we are telling today, and then we'll be done with all of this super bad heavy stuff. But it's too much. It's too much. We got to get something done. We got to get some kind of justice. Something's got to give. Department of Justice. Something's got to give. President Biden, Vice President. Like, something's got to give. It's too much. And just imagine all of the ones that are not caught on video. Can you just imagine? It's just open season, and I'm sick of it. But the family is looking for, at first they were doing a wrongful death lawsuit, which I believe is monetary, just all money. But now, according to their attorney, they want heads to roll. They want people to be held accountable. So I'm hoping that whatever it is that they are seeking, that they get some sort of justice, some sort of money if that's what they need, or not even so much need, but if that would make, I mean, nothing's going to make it better, I'm sure, for them. But whatever it is that they need to win, hopefully justice and heads to roll, because this starts at the top. This cover-up starts at the top. So we'll be praying for his family, and hopefully there's not a whole lot of other cases like this to report on. Let's move on. All right, next up, guys, let's discuss Kandi. And not for a long time, because I can't discuss her for a long time because she bores me. Everything about her bores me. Her face bores me. Her voice bores me. Even the stories that come up about her bore me. So we're not going to talk about her long, but let's discuss the fact that her restaurant, Blaze, failed inspection. She had plenty of health code violations, one of them being employee working with raw food and proceeded to go straight to cooked food without washing their hands, which of course is cross-contamination all day. So number one, working in the restaurant, they should be wearing gloves. I mean, if you're working with all this food or whatever, you should definitely be wearing gloves, and you don't wear the same gloves to work with fish and things like that you use to work with prepared food. So get it together, Kandi. Also, failing to have procedures in place and supplies in place in case of vomit, diarrhea, etc., etc. Apparently, restaurants have to have some things on hand just in case anything happens, and she did not have that. Also, food not properly being stored at the correct temperature. So, of course, you know that, plenty of people can get sick if it's supposed to be stored at a higher or lower temperature and it's not. They also had complaints of labels, things not being labeled correctly, like rice, flour, nothing was being really labeled. So she basically just had to get some crap together. Biggest thing to note is that there were no rodents, no bugs, nothing like that. So normally when you hear that someone had, failed for health inspection reasons and via code violations and things like that, immediately you go to nasty. It's just nasty and dirty, and no, I'm not gonna eat there. But thankfully it wasn't anything like that. I mean, it was still some very serious violations. I mean, you could still get sick from these things that's going on, but thankfully it wasn't bugs, it wasn't rodents. So she was shut down last week, and apparently she's already fixed them and she's back up and running, and we're done with Kandi. And in Nobody Gives a Shit news, J-Lo and Ben Affleck are spotted in Miami in some sort of, I'm not sure if it was an Airbnb. Apparently he has like an $18 million home in Miami. Not sure if it was there. Don't care. Don't give a shit. Really don't. So they're apparently following them around, because today I saw a headline that they were at the gym together, and my whole thing is, come on, no one gives a shit. Really? Nobody. Not nobody. And kind of piggybacking off of that, we're gonna go right into petty news, and that would be Diddy. That would be your boy Puff Daddy, Puff Diddy, whatever his name is, as he posted a throwback picture of him and J-Lo today. And that's just mad disrespectful and petty. And I'm here for it. I'm usually never really here for Diddy, not a whole lot, but it was petty. And of course, he's not worried about Ben. Like, what's he gonna do to him? So he was being petty. I think he posted a couple of them. He's so foul. And apparently they're calling it him shooting his shot. Do y'all want to see Diddy back with J-Lo? She would never get back with him. He was terrible for her image. I really do think she liked him, or loved him, whatever. But with that whole thing about the gun in the club and everything that he was, getting in trouble with at the time that they were together, for sure her people told her to get away from him. Anyway, I'm talking about this way longer than I should have, because no one gives a shit, and Diddy is petty, but I'm here for it. Okay, you guys, lastly, we're going to end with a segment I like to call I Know You Fucking Lying. And this story is going to be about our girl Issa. And apparently there was someone, headmaster with Auntie, I'm not even going to say the word, but that was her name. And she had a little tweet, just randomly. Issa Rae is not an attractive woman to me, and that is okay. Every black person ain't attractive. Also, she will never know who I am, and even if she did, it doesn't matter, because I don't want to fuck her or be hired by her. Where'd that come from, you guys? Why? What's wrong with Auntie? Why'd she have to do that? So, what's funny is, some kind of way I got back to Issa, which she's just like, oh, Issa don't know who I am. Some kind of way I got back to Issa. So Issa tweets out a picture of this girl. Okay, but we look the same. The fuck? And the funny part is they do. They favor. This is the girl. And I'm also going to put up Issa. And it's so funny. They actually look the same. And they're actually both very beautiful. beautiful girls, but her attitude makes her not so beautiful. So Issa wins that one. And then lastly, Issa puts up, not my cousins publicly disrespecting me. And this is true. Like, why? Sis, what's it all about? She did nothing to you. Number one, you're entitled to your opinion. It's true. And I know that the internet is so full of trolls, but for what? Like, why'd you even have to make that whole tweet about her? It was rude, it was disrespectful, and it served no purpose whatsoever. So I'm sure she feels like an idiot, just a total idiot. And that's going to end it for us this week, guys. Wasn't a whole lot of news going on. I could talk about Larsa Pippen and the whole thing, the back and forth with her and the little guy and his wife, but I don't want to. I really don't want to because I don't care enough. I really don't. They had a few good reads in there. Old girl got her with a few good reads. Larsa came back with a couple of reads, but she's a hooker, so she can shut up and nothing she says really matters. But I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to look for their pictures to put it up or anything. Unfortunately, Scottie Pippen chose wrong. That is going to conclude our podcast for this week. And hopefully we'll see you back here next week because we do this every Friday. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Y'all, I'm not redoing this audio again because I keep messing up the word subscribe. It's subscribe. Okay, I'm not gonna delete it and do it again. So just like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you back here next week. Smooches.